In this interpretation, Rosemary will perform as Eliza in two different stages of life. First, she will be young Eliza as a teacher on Hilton Head. The second will present a more mature Eliza, reflecting upon her stay in the Low Country. Presenting Rosemary Staples as Eliza Ann Summers.
February 5th, 1867. Dear sister, when I last wrote you, we had just arrived in Charleston from New York City. We are now finally in Hilton Head. We arrived Friday night at 7 o'clock, and the next day we were taken to our new home. And we will be staying in a place called Lawton, which is on the south end of the island, about a 10-mile ride on the beach from Mitchellville, which is the main town. And what a gorgeous beach it is here. Oh, Coney Island cannot possibly compare to the beaches on Hilton Head. On one side is the broad Atlantic Ocean. On the other are forests of pine and palmetto and oak trees draped in gray moss that the people here use to stuff pillows. Ah, you have never seen homes like this. All the larger homes here are raised on posts to let the air circulate underneath. They look like barns on stilts. Most of them only have one layer of board, and there are spaces between those boards large enough for birds to fly through. Indeed, rats can come through those very same spaces too. Oh, sister, I must tell you that we go to bed every night with 3 or 4 pairs of shoes to flee at the rats because they come right into the house. The other night, one carried off a lemon pie. Mr. Wright has promised us another cat because the one we had is absolutely worthless. Well, except for the rats, I do so enjoy my quarters here. I've met all my students, or my scholars as I call them. We teach 6 days a week from 9 to 2 in the morning, and then we break in the afternoon because that's when the scholars work in the field. I'll teach the older folks at night. We teach in the very same class where they have a Sunday school. It's called a praise house here. I teach the intermediate group and lead the singing, and oh, they love to sing. The scholars are so good at it. You know, the young babies, even when they're 6 months old, just rock in perfect time to the music. They know how to do this before they learn how to walk. I love singing with them. The children, most of them learn very fast. Just as fast as our northern children. Of course, there are some who are very slow too, just as there are up north, but I would tell you, very truthfully, I would much rather teach the scholars here than I would ever want to go back up north again, and I despair of coming back and teaching up there. April 14th, 1867, dear sister, oh, I have seen my first alligator. One of the scholars captured it today, and it's in a box. It's about 3 feet long, and I suspect that he wants to make alligator stew out of it. We have all kinds of dangerous critters around here. Rattlesnakes, you have never seen rattlesnakes like this. They are as big around as a man's arm, and the surveyors kill 3 or 4 a day. Sister, I have a present for you. It is a thunder snake. It's a thunder snake that Mr. Wright brought to me. I had it cured in a jar of whiskey. It's red and black and white and looks just like your favorite bees. You must tell Mother that we do not suffer from lack of food. Most every day, the scholars bring us oysters or prawns or whatever is in season. Where there are so many ways of eating oysters, we never tire of them. We have steamed and stewed, we have roasted, we have fried. Oh, yes, fried oysters are wonderful. And Julia and I are getting quite fleshy from eating all of them. We have oyster stew, we have turtle soup, and we even have turtle steak. Mr. Wright brings us groceries from Savannah about once a week. So we have plenty of tea and grocery, tea and coffee and sugar. So you understand that we do not suffer from anything. We are living a splendid life here. Neither one of us has been homesick a single moment. Don't tell Mother that, though. I do not remember having a better appetite. It is 12:15. I must stop. I must not sit up another minute. So goodbye, and give my love to all. Eliza. Oh, those words written by me so many years ago. I was 23 years old. I had never been away from home. That was the year that I came to Hilton Head for 6 months to teach the freedmen, or the former slaves, or as I like to call them, the scholars. Why did I go? My family and friends were always asking me, why did you go to the South so soon after the war? I said, I would have gone sooner if I could. Why I went, I'm from a long line of missionaries, and I'm a teacher. I knew that if these freedmen were to ever have a success in life, that they needed to learn the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. It was also hearkened by, well, President Lincoln, one of his wise and witty sayings, which was, it's not the years in your life that count, but it's the life in your years. So with those 2 motives in mind, in late fall 1866, I was given the opportunity to come to Hilton Head. I leapt at the chance. I seized the opportunity. And in January of 1867, my friend and fellow teacher, Julia Benedict, and I came down here aboard the steamer called the Grenada. I knew nothing about Hilton Head. I knew nothing about South Carolina other than that it had been gone through a series of crop failures the last few years, and the economy was in shambles. I knew that in Hilton Head, the year before, there had been a smallpox epidemic, and there had been cholera epidemics. I also knew that the Missionary Society told us that we would be working with the, as they said, the most ignorant and depraved of plantation Negroes. Nevertheless, I had no compunction other than to come down to Hilton Head. And I found the exact opposite regarding the people that I worked with. The people of Lawton were the most generous, the most gregarious, the most grateful people I had ever met in my life. They were so willing to work, they were willing to learn, they were willing to help us out. I taught 6 days a week. Julia and I taught 6 days a week from morning to night. And in the evenings, the people of Lawton would come around, and we would talk, we would sing until the wee hours of the morning. We also took a lot of trips here. We went to Savannah once, we went to Beaufort another time, we went to St. Helena. And you could smell St. Helena long before you got there because they had these most magnificent orange groves. I've never seen oranges blooming in February. And Defusky Island. I almost broke down in tears when I stood in front of Melrose's house with all of those varieties of roses. There must have been 50 varieties, and I remember one in particular, the cloth of gold. It was a brilliant yellow and big as your 2 hands. Oh, we were like children that day, snipping and cutting those roses and taking them home. I gave them to my friends at Lawton, but I also dried and pressed some of them for my mother and my sister. What we would do is put it and press it between drawing paper and send it home. Every Wednesday night, I would take my pen and my paper and sit at my little pine bench with a kerosene lamp, and I would write a letter to my sister detailing her the events of that week. Little did I know that my sister saved all those letters, 27 of them, and that they were discovered in our family attic 100 years after I had been here on Hilton Head. Who would have thought that people would be interested in those letters, or would want to publish a book about those letters, or that people might even want to pretend like they were me The book was called Dear Sister, and this is about my letters. So my message to you today as I stand here from this side of the cosmic veil is twofold. One is to write your story. Detail your days. Tell your tale, because one day, 100 years from now, someone may discover your journal, and you would have given them a peek into the past or today's present. And of course, remember Lincoln's words that it is not the years in our life, but the life in our years. The lights are flashing. Oh, the lights are flashing. It's time for me to go back from where I came. Farewell until we meet again.